2018 will commence. Let the record reflect that we have a quorum. We have 2 absent members, both of whom have notified the chair. Our secretary, Margie Quinn, has got a cold and she didn't want to pass it on to anybody. She notified me this morning. And also Darrell Talbot has got an irreconcilable conflict that he could not be here today. Before we get started on our business, on our committee business, and then I'll introduce our guest. Before we get started, I would like to pass on to everybody, and was reminded by Vice Chairman Jamie Holland that our fire chief, who was going to be a presenter here today, he's had a family emergency, a family tragedy. That is, his daughter has passed away. And I wanted to notify everybody, and although nobody is compelled to do this, I have asked Jamie Holland to be the recipient, and he will take up any donations, and that we will send flowers, not as committee people, but as friends of the fire chief. So if anybody wants to contribute, Jamie Holland will be in charge of the flowers for the family of Chief Swan, who is suffering at this moment. At this time, after having called the meeting to order, I would like for us all to stand and to for the invocation to be given by Commissioner Brenda Sanderson, and then we'll say the pledge.
Thank you, Lord, for this day and all the blessings in our lives. Protect and guide us. Give us strength to overcome adversities. Be with all our first responders and protect them. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. If you'd repeat after me the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and please be seated. All of you have been given a copy of the agenda. Do I have a motion and then a second to approve the agenda for this meeting? So moved by Commissioner Gamble and seconded by Commissioner Holland. And oh, by the way, our volunteer to be the interim secretary is our captain who's over there, and he graciously volunteered to be the secretary today. Did you get those, Captain?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. The minutes, the agenda is approved. All of you have been given a copy by Secretary Quinn of the minutes for the August 2021 meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? If not, do I hear a motion and a second that the minutes be approved and put it as a matter of public record? Motion made by Commissioner Sanderson. Do I hear a second? Second. All those signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. The minutes are approved. Thank you very much. Before, I think I'm going to take this out of order. I would like for reports on the committees which met this morning. We've had 2 committees to meet for the following, for this month and for last month. First, the Criminal Investigations Committee, and then secondly, the Response Committee, with a suspense date of December of 2021 to submit their reports. Is there any report from the Criminal Investigations Committee? Most specifically, do you need our help in doing anything, Committee Chairman Martinez?
Right now, it looks like we got what we're going to get from the TBI, FBI, and the ATF. As we go forward and begin writing the reports and questions come up, we can certainly ask them to see if they're willing to answer individual questions as they surface.
All right. Thank you very much. Captain Oliver, report from the response committee.
Yes, sir. One second, I'm doing this fast. Entry into my notes. Got you. Yes, sir. We're aiming to get a rough draft completed by October, just for review. Ms. Anderson is going to. Can everybody hear me?
We can, but you have to speak into the mic so that.
Got you. All right. Thank you all. Apologize.
Thank you.
Once again, let me start back over. We're planning on having a rough draft completed by October for review. Mrs. Sanderson is going to reach out to the engineer to assess the damages, which was a part of also the task for our committee. And we will go from there to report back in October to where we're at.
Thank you. Remember, committees, that we would like for the draft to be submitted to the third committee, which is the Lessons Learned Committee, which is chaired by Commissioner Vice Chairman Holland to my left. We would like for those to be submitted by December. Our target is to be able to complete our report within 1 year from the first time that we met. This is our 6th meeting. Based on my calculations, that would be April. That would be the latest we want to do it. That's consistent with the ordinance that was passed. That being the report from the committees, thank you very much, both chairmen, for these committee reports. At this time on the agenda, I would like to introduce Lieutenant Steve Lewis. Lieutenant Lewis is a veteran of the Metro Police Department. He has been with the Metro Police Department for over 3 decades. I suggested to him that he needed to consider making that a career move. And he said he was going to think about it real hard. But we're glad that he is here today to present a video, and as I understanding, working with Mr. Simpson and working with Ms. Gross, that you probably got your audio all squared away, and we welcome you to the committee. We want to eagerly listen to and watch your video. Thank you very much. The floor is yours. Yes, sir. Ms. Gross going to show you.
Excellent. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, put it a little bit closer like
Okay.
that.
What about now?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was just told yesterday to come out to present this because the chief was out and wanted to fill in. So thank you for inviting me. I really hate the tragedy in his house. He's a great guy too. So I really, really hate it. So I'm Steve Lewis. I work in the police department. Been there a little over 30 years. I currently work in Special Operations Division. I've got a few units, including USAR, Urban Search and Rescue, the dive team, Homeland Security issues, and virtual command. So I was involved in this incident fairly early on. I got the initial call as the supervisor for bomb that morning. So I started rolling out probably about 6:30, 6:45 to 7 o'clock-ish, and was there pretty quick, a few minutes after the explosion. So I was given a video just yesterday to present, and so they didn't tell us how the format would be. So if you want, I'll run this video through. It's probably about 12 minutes. Then I can kind of give you the notes format of what actually occurred in that, if that format works for you.
There's no audio.
There is.
With the video.
There is audio.
All right. Well, then that way we just watch the video, I guess, and then you can fill in after that.
Yes, sir.
All right. Do we need to change the lighting some way or another?
It should be on your screen as well.
Okay. Does it show up now?
I don't have anything on my screen.
No? Okay. Do you see it now? Okay. So 12 minutes, 43 seconds. We'll run that through. So there's 3 videos built into this. So there's a total of 3 videos built into this. There's one that is one of the officer's body-worn camera video that starts off outside of Dick's Last Resort. And then it goes into him walking up 2nd Avenue North towards Church Street. And then the third is the safety camera that came from 2nd and Commerce. And you've probably seen some of these already, but this is the video that we've got.
What's up, Timothy? Hey, man, we take a body. We got a conversation.
415B9, 411 Charles.
So you're not doing anything wrong, okay? You're not in trouble, but there is something serious happening down the roadway.
Go for 11.
Okay? Do you mind going down to 2nd and
Where do
Broadway?
they need to go when they are evacuating the building? I've got 2nd Commerce and the department managers want to know where they need to go.
Anywhere but the 2nd Avenue side, preferably the 1st Avenue side.
10-9.
As long as they don't go to the 2nd Avenue side, should be okay.
3593. 10-4.
That's so weird. That's like something out of a movie.
Like the purge?
Yeah.
Keep watching the videos.
Valid.
Well, in the meantime, I found out that that building that it's next to is the building that houses all the hard lines for phones throughout the southeast.
Makes sense. Good spot to put a bomb.
Take a ride up on
Take a ride on the 5th.
$415.
415.
We do not need fire on standby at this time.
All right.
Signal 10. Which one you want to see? I want to stop there. Command, I need all resources out on this call. Check in with your 10-4 ASAP. 23, Command, I want a roll call of all central personnel ASAP, starting with 11.
411, I'm 10-4.
15-4. We don't need a... On the second and Broadway. Opposed until the roll call is completed.
Dispatch the command. I believe you have everyone except for 425.
425.
Direct.
226. You got my phone. Coming to you. Where do you need it? Hey, and second and broad. Second and broad. Commander 425. Are you 10-4?
He's in 4. Are you guys okay?
Correct.
No, I guess.
Where's your car? Are you doing? Okay, go to your car. What's going on?
213. Myself and 215 are all going around.
I got 213 and 215 in route. Who else is in route? I missed the first one. 221. Yeah, direct.
The 21 calls as well. 515 Charles coming. 113 Charles is central on that round. 41,000 bid on this 23.
Forward to dispatch. Don't fire the best way to come through. You're driving the wrong way down second from Union.
Command all units, we're here in secondary. There could be ammunition inside the vehicle. Do not get in the open. Do not get out in the open on 2nd Avenue.
423, assistant 9.
Stay undercover. We have possible secondary for ammo.
We're here in secondary class. We believe there's ammunition either in red or here in another vehicle close by.
Get secondary now. Let them know. Command, make sure all units are direct. There may be ammo in that vehicle. We don't need anybody coming up the 2nd Avenue exposed.
You okay? Yeah, I'm good, man. I appreciate it.
Boy 44, we need a 47 to take it to Broadway for an officer with hearing loss in his left ear.
Dispatch that unit. Please repeat.
Yeah.
Charles on Central. You have about all the east cars in that 2nd Broadway. Where do you need it?
11 at this
dispatch, if you can start setting up officers, we appreciate it.
Is that your car?
Yeah.
Command. Just get break up as far as we can. Get some officers over on 3rd Avenue, blocking off all the secondaries. Over on 1st Avenue, get it out as far as we can. Get some up on the north side of it on 2nd Avenue here.
Hey, y'all gotta go that way. That way. Keep going.
What happened?
Mary 71, I'm at 3rd Commerce.
Seriously, no, keep going.
You know we live here, right?
I would keep going.
Should do that. Okay.
416 Adam. I'm on 5th.
Hey, man. Hey. Go that way, man.
Sorry,
You're good. You just go that way.
I'm managing this.
Dude, trust me, go that way. Please.
I saw it go off this morning.
I know it. Keep going that way.
Yeah,
As far as y'all can.
Pardon? Do you know what it was offhand?
Not exactly.
It was pretty big. It was a
Yeah.
pretty big fireball. It was right on top of it. It was right on top of here. It was a pretty big
Yep.
fireball.
Yeah, it was. Just keep going.
Okay.
I appreciate it, guys. Keep going, though.
Oh, yeah.
221, I'm at 4th and Church and Last Shuttered over here by Printer's Alley. I think I'm outside of it right now, but I'm blocking at 4th and Church. Charles set up at Union and 2nd. 113 Charles, I'm at 3rd Avenue North and Union Street. 415 to 410, I just closed the THC, they got resources coming.
Bad day. So to kind of go quickly through the things that occurred during that you saw.
Thank you. You might want to speak a little bit closer to the microphone.
How about now?
Pull it down there where it's comfortable for you. Thank you.
What about now? Okay. So central officers responded to the shots fired call. That's how it started. So we think from the investigative that the shots fired call actually was a recording on the RV. We don't think there was ever any shots fired out there. Llewellyn was first responder. Hosey was second responder. When they showed up, the RV was announcing what you just heard. The bomb was in the vehicle, evacuate if you can hear this recording, what you just heard. So pretty quickly, Llewellyn called Miller, who was the sergeant working Central that day. So just to give him an update, here's what we have. What do you think we ought to do? Here's what we're already doing. They discussed it back and forth. Miller says, call more Central officers. So they run two channels, the one that's the primary, then they also have a talk around. They rolled over on the talk around channel, called for every other officer that was working Central. And Central, as you know, overnight, is pretty slim as far as personnel. I think they only had like 4 or 5 people working that night. So not a lot of people if there's lots of people downtown. Luckily, there wasn't a lot of people downtown at that time. So Miller, after they get the Central officers rolling that way, Miller calls the off-duty lieutenant, which is Lieutenant Gibson. It's Christmas Eve. He's not at work. So they talked about the situation. He says, hey, get evacuations going, which they were already starting to do. Set your perimeter and have HTU called out, which is what we do all the time. We protect people from the hazard, or we get the hazard moved away from the people, whatever it takes to get the separation so you don't injure people with something that's hazardous. So they were going through that normal process. So HTU gets called, which is Hazardous Device Unit, which is our bomb squad. And so Miller called also called Central, Sergeant Gray, which is the other sergeant working that night, and said, hey, get on the safety cameras, take a look and see what you see. This RV had to get here somehow, and somebody had to get out of it. So see what you can see. So they get on the cameras, and you probably already know all this, and they get on the cameras and start looking to see what they find, and then they see the RV. Then Sergeant Miller starts en route, calls dispatch to page out the hazardous device unit, and he advises the officers to start the evacuation process, which they were already doing. Dispatch then contacts the on-duty supervisor for hazardous device, which happened to be me that day, and provided me the basic information. So I then do what we normally do. We call the sergeant that's on the scene and say, what do you have? So we can sort out what we need to bring, how many people and what equipment and things like that. So I get all that basic information from him, and then I dispatch 2 bomb technicians that way, which is Kevin Pollard and Brad Burns. At that point, the evacuations are still occurring, which you saw a few samples of that. Luckily, a lot of people weren't at home. They were off to wherever their families happened to be. There wasn't a lot of people on 2nd Avenue. It could have been a much different outcome if that would have been the case. It wouldn't have been the case. Right after I briefed the technicians quickly, this is what you got. Here's the person to call. They almost immediately en route will call that supervisor to get first-hand information. That way you don't lose the translation between what they gave the dispatch, what they gave me. Give it straight to the technicians. I always tell my guys, call them directly, get that information. You're not going to get any better information from anybody but them. So here's enough to get you rolling. Call them. So that's what he did. So while Brad Burns was en route, he called Sergeant Miller, who's also already on the scene. Now, if you noticed up on 2nd Avenue, just north of church, there was a patrol car across the street. That was him. That's where he was parked at. So they have a discussion between the on-scene officers. About that same time, there's a discussion from the on-scene officers about a vehicle might be in just a distraction to an active shooter situation, which is not a tactic that's uncommon, really. So we thought, well, this could be pulled up there. This could be a problem, and it's just to draw our attention there, draw our resources there, and then we get hit from some other direction. So they were worried about that. So when you saw the officer go up to up second, turn on the commerce, and go to his trunk, that's why he was going there, is they were told to put on your heavy vest because it might be an active shooter situation. So kind of put that in perspective. So they go back and forth about that, and Wells, one of the officers, actually said, yeah, this doesn't feel right. We probably ought to put more protection on, so they do. While Brad Burns and Sergeant Miller are on the phone, the bomb detonates. So Sergeant Miller, who was in his car on 2nd Avenue, which we were just talking about, that blast wave goes up 2nd Avenue, hits his patrol car, and the airbags go off. I don't know if y'all know that. So he's in his car. He just got hit with airbags, sitting still in his car on 2nd Avenue. And then he's having to make decisions about what to do next because he's the guy that's got this. He's the guy. So he's the supervisor over it. So after cutting himself out of the airbags and out of the car, he gets on the radio, calm. He did most of the talking that you heard on the radio, and calls and says, we've had an explosion, tells the dispatcher, goes through all that protocol. Brad Burns, who was on the phone with him when it went off, notifies all of us. It just detonated. So we get it on our side, they get it on their side. Of course, right after that, we kick in protocols. So I called the Special Investigations Division captain that morning and said, I don't know what we have yet, and I don't know who's involved in it yet, but I need your guys to get out of bed, get on the computer, and start doing some work for me. Because I need to know, is this lone person or is this big things? Lots of people involved, state-sponsored, or somewhere in between the two. So they start that process. Sergeant Miller calls for fire and medical, which you could hear on the radio, and he starts that process of checking on his officers. And this is all pretty fast. This is in minutes that all this is going on. And as he's requesting, he also goes in and starts requesting police personnel. So what he's doing is anything that you don't have tied down to something on a call in other precincts, I need it. And he starts getting that stuff coming to him. He also asked for the radio to be closed so we can have a secure communication to talk on and nobody else is having to deal with the call on it. When he didn't get responses from his guys quick enough on the radio about if they're okay, he tells the dispatcher, you may catch it, he says, check with all the cars, see if they're okay, starting with Llewellyn. Roll down through the list. That's why he's doing this, because he's not getting what he wants. He wants to know they're okay, because we could have lost one or two or 10 or whatever it happened to be. Miller advised his officers to look for secondary devices. I don't know if you heard that on the radio. Keep your evacuations going, check for wounded, which is all the things you would think we would do. Then there's a discussion about reporting that the ammo in the RV is burning, because the RV is burning. And what you're hearing is that ammo is heating up to a temp that they're exploding. Did y'all catch that? So you're hearing all those pops, and what they were saying is that although the velocity of that projectile is not going to be the same as it would be contained in a chamber going down a barrel, it still could be deadly. So what they're saying is I don't want you in that open area so that you could get impacted. He also, as the fire department arrives, advises them. So if you notice, they come straight down 2nd Avenue and they stop. And then he goes, "Ooh, bad place." And he has them turn off to Church Street. So if you see that on the video, that's why that happens. HTU technicians and supervisors arrive on the scene. They start assisting, start advising, start working the fire department on several things, including environmental. Was this dirty? Was there radiation? Is there something we need to be doing there? Did we just contaminate all of downtown with a radiation device that happened to be on this explosive? Is there other chemicals that have been released from any of the buildings that were impacted? Was there anything else in this? But they start environmental monitoring. I'm not sure if everybody knows that. So that was occurring. Miller advised the NFD about the cooking off ammo, which they then pull off on the side. He then goes back and talks to Lieutenant Gibson, who advises, where you are is not the greatest place. Let's move command down to 1st and Broad so we can have people come to it safely as opposed to right in the middle of this. So they move that. We sent an HTU rep, hazardous device unit person down there as well to hook up with them as just an advisor. Then you hear the ambulance being requested for Wells, who's the one that had some hearing loss at the moment. That blast wave went up and down 2nd Avenue. If you were there, 2nd Avenue, it was not a good place to be. Miller then asked traffic crime scene perimeter to be set up using all those responding cars so we can isolate this from people coming into it and keep people from anything getting out or anything getting in that doesn't need to go past that border either way. You hear East officers checking in saying, "We're here, what do you need us?" And he starts directing them by location. "This is where I need you." Miller, who's at command at this time, directs those traffic posts himself and says where he needs them. And then you see on the radio where they start keeping pedestrians from coming into it because it's still dangerous. We don't want you there. We don't know exactly what we have. We sure don't want you there to get part of that ammo hitting you or any of the hazards that may be there. Lieutenant Gibson then advises, let's go ahead and take the police instant command and move it over to the gateway pad, which is where they always set up for Titans and things like that. And he advises to notify the police executives, MTA, NES, NFD, which already knows, Water Department, Piedmont, THP, AT&T, all the people you would think would need to know about it. By that time, a THP supervisor and about 10 troopers had arrived. They went straight to staging. Gibson arrived about 7:20, so we're roughly an hour into this, I guess, maybe a little less. He gets briefed up and takes over the command. And then Sergeant Miller then gets assigned, who was command before, as the staging manager. Anything coming in from here forward, he's going to take care of. Gibson's going to take it from here, which is his detail. MNPD immediately asked THP, shut downtown off. We don't want anything coming in here unless it's coming here to help. We don't want anything coming in here and be part of the problem or make more problems. So they actually shut downtown off and isolate it. THP helps us do that. And then from there, we asked for MNPD, THP, and airport explosive detection canine dogs to respond because we're not real sure at this point whether or not this is a lone person with a lone device or whether there's something else planted somewhere else in some other area downtown. And then as people get there, it goes off. So we bring in a bunch of canines. We start with ours, then we ask for more, and then we run pretty much every car downtown in the inner loop. Pretty much from JR to probably DeMumbrum, from the interstate to the river, and make sure that all that's clear. Also, due to building collapses that have already occurred and potential for more, we activate a small group of police USAR personnel to assist fire department as they do their work in the impacted area. Also, we kick off SWAT, place them on standby. The reason we did that is because if there's a person involved that's not here, They're going to have warrants, they're going to have arrests, and they're going to have potential active shooter situations, and I want that tactical element ready to go respond to any of that if I need it. About the same time, we notify ATF, FBI, MNPD, CID investigators. They were all notified. Staging was established over G and M lots, which are the two northern ones right there by juvenile justice. Anything responding goes there. C. Miller, he'll get them signed in. And by this time, we've sent Llewellyn, Wells, and Hosey to the hospital to get them checked for internal injuries, because there's really no way a medic standing on the scene and can really assess whether they've got an internal injury. It's kind of like a concussion situation throughout the body. You could have, ripped organs or arteries or something like that going on, and you could be leaking blood and not even know it. So we said, you got to go to the hospital and be checked. So we get them rolling as well. Amanda and Sippos, the person with the body camera, since they were out of the line of that blast wave, one was on Church, I think one was on Broad, they just got checked by NFD and released. I happened to be the acting captain for the day because my captain was out of town. So I had SOD. The scene was secured. Evacuations were going. Medical treatment and shelter in place was underway. Secondary device searches were going on, and the investigative process was started. And MNPD was already starting to get investigative leads very early on. So all that happened probably in the first hour. So I'm not sure if that gets you ramped up to where you need to be, and we can continue, but that's the initial stuff.
Questions of the lieutenant by the commission? Questions of the lieutenant by the commission? Anyone? I've got two.
Yes, sir.
What is your best judgment on the alleged shots that were fired?
As far as whether it occurred or it didn't occur, the evidence that they know at the moment is there was never shots fired there prior to the officers getting there, or even after the officers arrived. The shots fired call, we believe, was recorded and played over the same PA system in the RV. That was, we believe, to draw the people there, and we'll never know exactly what the mindset was, but we believe all the evidence would point towards he rolled up, parked there for whatever the reason was, why he picked there and why he picked that day, played the recording to get the police to come there, knowing that they're going to clear the area, and then he can then detonate the device more safely, still make a statement, do what he needs, but not hurt as many people. We also think that he didn't detonate that device until he saw the officers round the corners to go put on additional protection. If you think about the timing of it, that's exactly when it happened.
And from the time that the shots were heard,
yes, sir,
until the actual bombing, about how much time expired?
I don't have that in front of me. I believe I saw the CAD report, something like a 6 o'clock in the morning, and you probably have that in front of you. I don't have it in front of me. And then the device went off at somewhere around 7, so 6:45 to 7 o'clock-ish. So we're talking maybe an hour total, but don't hold it to me. We really need to look at the record to get the exact time on that.
Commissioner Gamble may know.
6:30 is what's in the FBI.
It's when it went off.
Yeah.
Okay. So 30 minutes or so.
30 minutes or so. And in that amount of time, you were able to successfully evacuate everybody?
All that we knew about, all that were in the area. And as far as we know, nobody was injured out of the initial officers that just took blast wave and the person that was in the vehicle. So
that sounds successful. That sounds very successful in the evacuation.
I think response was successful. I mean, obviously, we still have victims that have buildings that are down, still out of business. We still know it's impacting tourism. We know that there's a lot of other things along with that are still not totally back to.
Sure.
But I think the police, fire, EMS did a pretty good job responding to it. I think one good thing about this city is we have so many special events in this city that police, fire, and EMS, public works, and all the entities have to work together regularly. And the beauty of that is that when something happens, it's not the first time you've ever talked to them. You know who to call. Everybody's on speed dial. I know that my public works counterpart's out of town this week because we're that close. We work together that closely. So for this city, Vegas, and some other special event type cities, it's a better setup than most places.
Were there any turf wars?
Absolutely none on the state and local levels. There's always a debate between ATF and FBI on who's going to take that situation. And the reason that is that until it gets determined a terrorism incident, it's not really FBI's place, it's an ATF place. So they had discussions about it. So I guess you could call that a turf war, but they had to determine who actually is going to take that case. So, because
But that wasn't your call anyway.
it's not ours at all. Our job is to hold that perimeter, assist them until the investigative work's done. We are there with them side by side along the way. But who picks that up and adopts it, whether on the federal side, doesn't really matter to us. It's still the same USA to prosecute it. Doesn't really matter which one's got it. So, and we work well with both.
Thank you very much. Any other questions? Yeah, Commissioner.
Thank you, sir, for being here, and thanks to all of your fellow officers for all that you do to protect us.
Thank you.
Really appreciate that. You guys you're just some of the best, absolutely. I've worked with a lot of you all the time, and I couldn't be more proud of our Nashville Metro Police Department. I do have one question. There was a report, it was in our report somewhere, that this vehicle stopped at the Hermitage Hotel and parked in front of that for a while and was asked by employees of the hotel to move. Is there no significance to that? Was there investigative input
I know
at all?
I know that was reported, and I know that was a lead that they followed up on. I do not know the outcome of that, but if during their investigative process, if there was video, they pulled it. If there was anybody that reported it, they would have interviewed them. They were very thorough on the federal side and local side to run all those down. I did hear it that morning. It did come out. I say that morning. I'm not sure what day it was. I was there 17 days, so I'm not real sure what day it was. But I do recall that being presented.
So do you think it didn't happen, or you just
I think
don't have any information?
I think it's very likely to have happened. I think he rolled into downtown and he rolled around and decided when he was going to go or where he was going to go. He probably already knew where he was going to go. He probably just didn't know when he was going to go. So he may very well have pulled up there. I do not know that personally, but I'm sure it's in the case file on the Fed side. So I'm sorry I can't answer it for 100%.
Commissioner.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for coming here today and showing the video and answering questions. I, too, would like to commend the Metro Nashville Police Department for the great work that you all did that day in helping save lives. You mentioned that that possibly the suspect detonated the bomb himself. So do we know for sure that it wasn't on a timer? Do we know for sure that he self-detonated the bomb? And the second question is, after the bomb blast, we saw some people coming off of 2nd Avenue. Do we know where they came from? They looks like they were all right, which is great. But just wondered if we knew where they came from right after the blast.
The ones that were on the video, I do not know where they came from, but I'm sure the ones that didn't answer their doors when they knocked in the middle of the night or early that morning, when the blast went off, you know they came out to see what was happening. So that's likely to be where they came from, and they were escorted out of the perimeter. The other part of the question?
The timer. We know for sure that the bomb wasn't on a timer and it was self-detonated.
We do not know.
Okay.
Now, I don't know that the FBI knows at this point. So in this case, they quickly ruled that it was one person. They were quickly able to figure out who it was. They were very quickly, with the help of the state, were able to figure out the vehicle, who owned it, and that's what drove how they found out who it was. So, and they, during social media and the investigative work, things like that they did, they were pretty sure that he was a loner, not connected up. He wasn't making a bunch of statements out there on social media. So they believe that it was sole, one person, nobody involved in it. So, and because DNA was collected quickly and analyzed within, I think, 24 hours, for sure, within 2 days, they knew exactly that it was him. So because of that, no prosecution needed. It changes the intensity level, I guess, of the investigation, because they already have the case. They already know what they need. So they didn't have to dive as deep into. Anything they dove into on the device was solely so that they knew about the device for future things. So last I heard, the last briefings that I've been involved in, and I've been with the FBI when they presented a couple times the case file itself, they did not mention knowing either direction what actually did that, whether he put two wires together, whether he did it electronically, whether he did it with a switch. They did not say that. And I'm not sure they really know how it actually, two wires got put together that generated the signal that exploded the device. A lot of things from a vehicle, electronics are coming out of that. So you're processing a lot of pieces and parts and a lot of wires and circuit boards. So it's a pretty monumental task to put that back together. So, and they're still sorting through it.
Lieutenant Lewis, I asked this same question of Director Roush of the TBI at the last meeting, and I prefaced it like I am today, and that is that motive is not a part of criminal law, either in Tennessee or the federal system, but I've never met a juror that didn't ever ask what was the person's motive. Can you tell me what this person's motive was in setting that bomb off on Christmas Day of 2020?
I do not know. I do not know what the motive was. Hold on one second. Can you see this, Ms. Campbell? So yes. That is day 3, DNA confirmation, day 4, focused on investigation. That picture that's in the bottom right is part of that's from the FBI crime lab, where they actually looked at that photo, looked at all the pieces and parts. My understanding, they hauled about 3,500 pounds of parts and things that were collected out there to their lab to process. So that's how monumental of a task it is to figure out what actually activated that device. So, and as far as motive, since they're not able to talk to him and he was a loner and there's very few people that he interacted with, they don't know 100% what drove his thought process to do that. There's speculations and evidence, that are got him that way, but as far as I know, they didn't ever decide it was a terrorism incident with any kind of, outside the United States or even homegrown connections. It seemed like it was a personal thing for him. There was reports that he may have had a terminal illness, or he thought he had one. His brother did have one, who had passed away earlier. So it could be that he thought he was going out anyway, and he thought he would make a statement. There were, and I'm sure y'all have seen the intel. I know Ms. Campbell's seen the intel on it. As far as his history and how he got to that place, and he had a lot of different theories in his head going on, of which we don't know 100% because we obviously can't interview this guy, and nobody really talked to him much. So how do you get the information about what he's thinking when he didn't relate to anybody? So it's a pretty tough place to get that info out of it. So sorry, I'm not sure I'm answering it quite right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Captain.
Thank you, Sergeant Lewis. First question is, and let me go back for a second. Are we able, the PowerPoint you just showed, to collect that for this commission, to get that to review?
What's that?
The PowerPoint you just showed with the information and the bombing photos you just pulled up?
That's all federal case file. You just have to ask them about that stuff. So it's all their property.
Got you.
But I'm sure whatever they have is, they would assist you with.
Yeah, and the reason why I ask is the chairman has given us 3 distinct committees in a way to look at this and to fulfill our charge as a commission. And the first one is the investigative piece of this. And then the second one is the actual bombing and response. And then last is the lessons learned. And so we're trying to gather as much information to be detailed and succinct in our effort to answer those questions, fulfill our charge. So any information that we get would be helpful. So, yeah.
Yes, sir. Anything you need from the police department, you can pass it to the chief or Don Aaron's office. They do a pretty good job at pulling that type of information together, and they'll be glad to assist.
Yes, sir. And then let me echo my colleagues here on the commission in thanking you all for what you all did that day and what you continue to do. I can speak from experience the enormity of bravery it takes to walk into the fog while simultaneously responding and yet trying to investigate and get all the information and still charging towards a dangerous scene like that. We saw in, I think, 10 to 15 minutes of video, the men and women under your charge setting up perimeters, keeping people out of danger while yet putting on their protective gear and still charging towards it. So thank you all for what you do. To summarize just a little bit, and this is just for points of clarification, in the FBI report and what you all just reported just now, it seemed to be succinct in the timeline from the bomb exploding at 6:29, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then the FBI getting on the scene at around 7:30. Did you all release incident command at 7:30?
We never released incident command.
Yes, sir.
So just so you know, it starts local and ends local.
Mm-hmm.
So we're involved in the entire process. So they were here to assist to do the investigative work, but it's still our scene. It's still our city. We still have to do normal business. So we're still 100% engaged in everything about that.
Yes, sir. And that kind of also concurs with Director Roush's statement, as well as how everyone worked together to take charge and whatnot in the response.
So we actually notified FBI when we found out it had detonated. When we made our notifications to our HGU personnel, we notified our point of contact to FBI as well,
Gotcha.
who's also a bomb technician. So we work very, very closely with them.
Yes, sir. All right, great. I just wanted to make sure everything was summarized and we were all on the same page, that from the point you all were the first responders and then probably closely followed by Metro Nashville Fire Department, if I'm correct, yes, and then everybody else was called in as requested to assist either in the rescue and recovery or the investigation of this
Absolutely.
incident. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Any further questions of the commission? There being none, I too. Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner.
Thinking forward, thank you, Sergeant, and in our recommendations, one question I have is around some of the surrounding departments, obviously Vanderbilt, Belmont, Berry Hill in particular, as I think about the fairgrounds and the new stadium that's going in. What kind of coordination was there, given that this was downtown? Was there any coordination with the Berry Hill Police and or in the future as we think about the new stadium? What does that look like?
Okay, as far as that day, I can't tell you whether they notified all the other police departments in the city. I do not know that firsthand. I would not be surprised if they did, because they're pretty good. The Department of Emergency Communications is very good about notifying, and they've got protocols in place. So if something's going to impact another city, they're automatically got processes in place to do that. So I'd be very surprised if they didn't notify them. Going forward, when we have an event in Nashville, special events division in our department is the one that's involved in that. And they work hand in hand with the mayor's office and hand in hand with the fire department and other entities as they go forward. So I'm assuming that when they have the new stadium over in, I guess it would be Berry Hill Fairgrounds area, that they'll have that, or they'll be involved in that, because you got to have public works, you got to have traffic control, you have to have a lot of other pieces to make that happen. Even if we don't do the stuff on campus, we still have to do everything around it. And that coordination with them, when we have something in the parks, we directly coordinate with Parks Department. If we have something at Berry Hill, we're going to be hand in hand talking to Berry Hill about it. Oak Hill, Old Hickory, whatever it happens to be, Goodlettsville. So I would be very, very surprised if we didn't do that. It would be against our protocols.
Thank you. Thank you for everything.
Thank you. Commissioner Holland.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for coming here today.
Yes, sir.
But I serve on the Lessons Learned Committee, so I thought it'd be a good opportunity to ask you something. If you had to do anything differently, what would you do?
I have a whole list. No. Well, I mean, I say that jokingly, but I say that seriously too, because we've already made changes. We've already implemented things pre-blast and some things post-blast. Just to give you a couple things, AT&T went down. So communication went down. It impacted more than just us. It impacted, a lot of different agencies in the Southeast and entities in the Southeast. We can't just use AT&T. So our department's already, and probably not the forum to talk about, but we already have plans to make sure that we have continuity of communication, whether it be satellite, whether it be different carriers, things like that. So there's a whole list of improvements along the way, and that's just one of them. Policy procedure, minor adjustments, equipment, things like that, redundancy in equipment, priority for equipment. If we need a piece of equipment for a response and it's a limited amount of those, like there's only so many fire trucks, there's only so many ambulances, there's only so many bomb trucks. Well, they need priority at the garage, for example. That way, when you need them, they're ready. When you get done with them that afternoon, they need to be rehabbed and put back in service exactly for the next thing that may happen 30 minutes from now. There are little minor issues and minor tweaks like that, but no earth-shattering, sweeping changes. So we could definitely talk offline or in another committee if you want for, details of that.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other questions? I echo, not only from my personal point of view as a citizen of this community, but also as chairman of this committee, I know that I can speak for the entire committee. We thank you for your hard work, your diligence, and your application to duty that day and in the days after that. Thank you very much. Also, thank you for being here today. We'll let your video be part of the record as well as your testimony as part of the record to this proceeding for the public to view or listen to. We thank you very much. You are excused.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The next meeting of the committees will be at 9 o'clock in this room on Tuesday, October the 26th, and then the full commission meeting will be at 10 o'clock on October the 26th. That's the last Tuesday of October. The public is welcome to attend as well. Remember that our timeline is to submit our final report to the Metro Nashville Council on by March meeting of 2022, which means this is our 6th meeting. Our October meeting will be our 7th meeting. We hope to have a draft of both committees to the Lessons Learned Committee by December, and then we will finalize the report from the Lessons Learned Committee, which we hope will finalize the report or get it close to finalization. We'll have January and February to complete the report with a suspense date of March. Are there any questions? Is there any objection to our adjournment? There being none, we are adjourned until October the 26th, 2021. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information about this and other programs, visit nashville.org.